in case you missed it, here's what Bobby Marks had to say about the Bulls. I don't know if you have that screenshot and want to throw it up. Instead of using cap space during an average free agent class this summer, is it more logical for Chicago to identify players under contract for next season? The Bulls have 7, count them 7, on expiring contracts. Vooch, Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Kobe White, Audisumu, Javon Carter, and Dalen Terry. If the Bulls allow those contracts to expire, they could have close to $70 million in money to spend in the offseason, but on an average free agent class.
Ooh,
that last part.
Yeah.
That last part.
Yeah. It feels like when they can't hear it, they're like, yeah, average. Right up the alley, baby.
I mean, should we go through some free agents? I got the list up.
Oh, go talk, baby.
Number 1, LeBron Raymond James.
Deal.
Unrestricted free agent.
Deal.
Age 42.
Come on.
Come on down.
You've
got Trae Young. He's got a player option. You want a reunion with Zach LaVine? He's got a player option I don't think he's opting out of. You got James Harden, player option. And then it's like CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton, Kristaps Porzingis. Hartenstein would be great, but the Thunder have a team option on him. Wiggins got a player option. Tobias Harris is a free agent. Van Vliet has a player option. Draymond has a player option. And then it's like Anthony Simons, John Collins, Terry Rozier. I don't even think he'll be in the NBA next year. Kuminga has a team option. KCP has a player option. Vooch, Harrison Barnes, Norman Powell. He could be good, but he's 33 already.
He could be great.
And then it's like Colin Sexton, Nurkic, Collins, Bogdanovich, Hachimura, Lou Dort has a club option. Kevin Huerter, Mitchell Robinson. Austin Reeves is probably the big name, but he has a player option, and he's probably going to get a max contract from the Lakers. So just not a lot of guys out there. So I think Bobby Marks is what we're going to talk about here is like there's just not a lot of guys. I think the Bulls need to come up with a different pathway to use this flexibility that they're talking about having, which is true, and it's a good thing, but they need to turn it into something productive, and free agency is really not going to be a place where you can do that.
Yeah, especially, you just mentioned Austin Reeves. I saw people talking about him in our chat earlier on in today's show. Like, the Lakers are locking that up. They know LeBron James is 57 years old, and the future is about Luka and Austin Reeves. And so, like, when it comes to that or anything else, Israel in the chat saying, yay for flexibility, ha-ha. I think that, like, we also saw a lot of what was supposed to be the top-tier, prize free agents of this 2026 draft class that AK was talking about get swallowed up by just signing huge extensions with their own teams.
Yeah.
So, like, this free agent class dried up pretty freaking quickly. Mm-hmm. And now...
And I think, just to add to that, I think free agency itself is drying up. Like, teams are just extending their guys. They're not really letting people get to free agency. And so you have to be more creative with your cap space. And that's what their challenge is going to be.
So that, of course, then begs the question, with all of this money coming off of their books and all of this financial flexibility that AK has been so happy and excited to have, should they be better served making these moves now in season? Because if you are a Bulls fan or a Bulls front office member that has legitimate optimism about the Bulls going out and swinging big sacks of money around this summer, A, who are those players you're targeting?
Yeah. As
Coach just laid out the list for you. And B, how convinced are you that you're going to convince them to pick the Bulls?
There's
the answer to both of those questions is a horrifying, terrible, awful one for Bulls fans.
There's nobody out there worth a max contract right now. Luka was really the guy he extended. De'Aaron Fox is another guy he extended with his team. So there aren't a lot of options. And then on top of that, you think about like what the Bulls have said is important to them from a roster construction standpoint. It's 9 to 10 good players. It's depth. And like, so you're getting a lot of guys coming off your books, or you're getting a lot of money, but you're also having a lot of guys come off your books. And so you have to figure out how many of them do you want to keep? How can you get them to resign? And then are you just running it back with the same team that's been 5 games below 500 since basically the start of November?
Yeah,
so
it feels like even with the expiring contracts that they have, let's say you get rid of them all, it seems like that this free agent class are slightly better versions of that. So it doesn't put you in, like you're saying, in a better position to win. It kind of moves the needle kind of like that, just yes. a little tick up. So instead of 39 wins, you go to 41 or something like that. But you're still going to be in that middle with these kind of players.
Yeah. So, of course, like that, Bulls fans thinking, okay, you got 7 expiring contracts. Are you going to try and use any or some of those to try to accumulate assets for what this team is going to try to do moving forward if you're already calling this season a bust, which I think if you are the Bulls front office's shoes, you should. But then there's two different kinds of trades they could be thinking about making here.
Okay.
Between now and the deadline, there's can we trade an expiring player for some, talented young player who's under contract and that we want to bring into this? And AK loves that.
Jam.
Or taking odd bad contracts, swapping your expirings for bad contracts that have more years on them to get picks and assets attached to them. Because, to me, if you're talking about Vooch, Dave, I know you asked that question, what's the top priority for the Bulls front office?
Yes.
Is it finding a trade for Vooch? Finally, they need to move on because he appears to be very ready to be out of here.
Yeah.
And whatever else. I don't think you're getting any value for Vooch right now. Not the way he's playing.
Yeah.
So, to me, we talked a little bit about Kobe and Io on yesterday's show, and trying to figure out which of these players on the team right now have value between now and that trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I have very little faith that AK is thinking this way, which is frustrating, but you have to be contemplating using this financial flexibility that he was so excited about as what's the phrase you used, Goat? Rental space for other guys on contracts other teams are trying to get off of? You
basically exchange your flexibility for picks. I mean, that's really, I think that's the only logical path forward at this point. You can hope that you can sign guys in free agency. Maybe you can, but it's not going to be any needle movers, to your point, Dave. And then maybe you just end up striking out and just bringing your team back. And now you don't have flexibility, but you still have the same team. And I think that's worst case scenario. Not that it would just be a disaster. The team wouldn't be any good, but it's you wouldn't be able to point your finger and show any progress. And that should be the point, is to be building somewhere, be progressing towards an outcome that hopefully is something beyond the 9-10 play-in game. So for me, the priority is not about trading Vooch. It's about extracting value wherever you can get it. And if that means you can get something for Vooch, fine. But if that means that you can get something for anybody else in the roster, I think you get that too, because that's just what the Bulls need right now, is they need some bricks that they can start building with. They have a couple of guys here that I think could be around long-term, and maybe they have a couple of guys on top of that they want to keep around long-term, but they just don't have a lot of building blocks that they can move forward with. And I think finding those however you can needs to be the priority for me. Trading expiring contracts to another team to help them with flexibility by taking on a player that's under contract or taking on additional money and saying, great, we'll exchange our flexibility. You guys can have that flexibility, but we're going to need a draft pick out of it. That's what you can start to look at and say, okay, now we can actually start building something. Now we can complement some of the guys that we have on our roster. Or if we do want to blow it up, we have something that we can move forward with, because right now they just really don't.